The van wasn't stolen. It wasn't misplaced. It was towed. Hauled right out of our driveway by our overzealous HOA, completely unaware that inside that modified Dodge Ram were over $30,000 worth of specialized K-9 training equipment, 2 federally tagged bomb detection kits, and a custom prosthetic leg extension issued to my wife by the Department of Defense. And the cherry on top? They did it without realizing the woman they were messing with was federally cleared and trained dogs for federal anti-terror operations. When I say they picked the wrong house, I mean it in every sense. Our cul-de-sac had always been quiet, the kind of place where neighbors half-wave on trash day and trade lawn care tips over fences. It wasn't the sort of place you expect to become the site of a federal investigation. But that's exactly what happened after the HOA president, an entitled control freak named Marlene, decided that my wife's van didn't fit her idea of neighborhood aesthetics. The van wasn't some beater. It was a government-approved, ADA-compliant Dodge Ram with a reinforced cargo area, elevated sensors, ramp access, and an ADA permit clearly visible behind the windshield. But Marlene? She called it militant-looking and said it made our neighborhood seem like a war zone. That morning had started like any other. My wife, Amanda, had returned from the K-9 training field with Titan, her latest trainee, a massive Belgian Malinois with more discipline than half the police force. She parked in our designated space, lowered the ramp, and guided Titan inside. 10 minutes later, Amanda was in the kitchen when she heard the sound of a diesel engine idling far too close. She peeked out and saw a tow truck reversing into our driveway. Titan, sensing her tension, stood at full alert. Amanda rushed outside, her limp noticeable, waving her federal ID and shouting that the van was a secured vehicle. The driver, chewing gum with the intensity of a teenager trying to win a bet, just shrugged. "Orders from the HOA," he said, gesturing to Marlene, who stood nearby with her clipboard. Amanda pleaded with them, explaining the ADA protections and showing her documentation. She even opened the van to show the clearly marked K-9 unit crate. The driver didn't budge. "I'll lose my job if I leave without it," he said. Amanda warned him of legal consequences. He smirked and hit the lever. Just like that, they were gone. The prosthetic, the gear, the detection kits, all of it. She called me right after it happened. Her voice was tight, focused. I didn't even hang up before I was in the car, shoes half-tied, heart racing. This wasn't just some bureaucratic blunder. This was deliberate. Amanda had already filed a federal incident report. The van was equipped with a government GPS beacon. As soon as it moved without authorization, it triggered a silent alert to her supervisor, who flagged it as a potential theft. By that evening, it wasn't just a neighborhood dispute. It was an open federal case. Amanda, ever composed, was already running Titan through scent detection drills in the backyard like nothing had happened. When I asked if we should confront Marlene, she just said, "Let them dig their own hole." The GPS pinged the van at a tow yard 15 miles out. Amanda's contact called, asking why the vehicle had been moved without registration. Her answer? Because it was parked in my driveway. On the other end, you could hear the gears grinding. This was a federally tagged vehicle. The prosthetic inside was government-issued medical equipment. The gear? Sensitive and restricted. Every detail pointed to one thing: an unlawful seizure of federal property. Marlene had no idea what she'd started. The next morning, 2 unmarked black SUVs pulled up to the tow yard. No lights, no drama. Just government officials with clipboards and serious faces. Amanda and I stood behind a chain-link fence as they opened the van and took inventory. Every case was labeled, logged, traceable. One agent paused when he spotted the sealed detection module. That alone warranted a security review. When asked who authorized the tow yard owner didn't hesitate. Marlene Jacobs, HOA president. The agent looked at Amanda. "Would you like to press charges for unauthorized seizure of a federally secured vehicle?" She didn't answer immediately, just glanced at me, then back at him. "Not yet." Meanwhile, Marlene was bragging on the neighborhood Facebook group about how she saved the block from looking like a military zone. She called Amanda's van a threat to community standards. The comments started out supportive. But it only took one post to turn the tide, a photo of Amanda in uniform beside Titan, captioned, "You towed the vehicle of a disabled veteran who trains federal service dogs. Still proud." From there, it snowballed. Neighbors demanded an emergency meeting. Someone posted ring footage of the tow complete with Marlene directing the driver. When she came by our house trying to smooth things over, I cracked the door just enough for her to see Titan watching from behind me. Amanda didn't even bother coming to the door. She called out, "Tell her to talk to our lawyer." And oh, we had one. Denise, our ADA specialist attorney, filed a formal complaint against the HOA within hours. Damages for emotional distress, misuse of medical equipment, breach of federal property protections. It wasn't a small number. Marlene, still unaware of the storm coming, doubled down. She claimed Amanda's paperwork was unclear and that the van was a security risk. 2 days later, a liaison from Homeland Security arrived at our home. He wasn't there to make friends. He handed Amanda a document declaring her van a protected federal transport. Any further interference would be treated as obstruction of federal operations. Marlene? She responded by calling another emergency HOA meeting, claiming extremists were using government contacts to intimidate her. One neighbor interrupted, "You committed a felony. That's not retaliation. That's consequences." Denise attended the meeting. When Marlene started ranting about unauthorized surveillance vans, Denise stood up and read aloud the federal statute Marlene had violated. The silence that followed was deafening. Titan's van hadn't just recorded GPS data. It had picked up audio too, including Marlene's voice, clear as day. "I don't care what paperwork she has. Get it off the property." That 12-second clip changed everything. Now we were talking about deliberate interference with a federally secured asset. The dominoes kept falling. Federal auditors reviewed every inch of the van. One box had been opened. That alone triggered an investigation. Meanwhile, Marlene hosted yet another HOA meeting, claiming Amanda planted the equipment to cause drama. Screenshots of her accusations spread like wildfire. A retired vet in the neighborhood posted, "I've seen combat. This is just a lady losing her mind over a van." Denise contacted the HOA's insurance company directly. They froze discretionary spending and began a formal review. That meant no more newsletters, no more landscaping, and definitely no more catered lunches for Marlene. Amid the fallout, Amanda held a K-9 demonstration at the park, something she'd scheduled long ago. Titan and 2 other dogs ran drills. Half the neighborhood showed up. Kids laughed, parents asked about training their dogs. Then Marlene showed up. She stormed across the field and demanded the event be shut down. "Unauthorized use of HOA land," she yelled. Amanda calmly replied, "This is city property, not HOA." Marlene pointed at Titan. "That animal is dangerous." As if on cue, Titan barked once. Loud, sharp, on command. The crowd gasped. Then they laughed. That moment broke the last of Marlene's support. Within days, the board called for a vote. She refused. That triggered a snap election. Ballots were printed and collected. Marlene was removed from the presidency and the board altogether. She sent out an email calling everyone mob-minded and threatening legal action. No one responded. Amanda's van was returned, fully restored and repainted. A new federal tag on the back. No one questioned it again. Titan became a local celebrity. One kid asked if he could be mayor. Another made him a collar tag that read "Local Hero." Marlene? She disappeared. Her house went up for sale. No offers came. Eventually, she accepted a lowball bid and moved away without fanfare. As she drove off, Titan barked once, as if to say goodbye or good riddance. Amanda didn't gloat. She just patted Titan's head and went back inside. To her, it had been just another training day. The new board implemented ADA training. They reviewed every outdated rule. They even refunded Amanda's HOA dues and issued a formal apology. The neighborhood changed. People were friendlier. There were community nights, cleanup days, movie screenings. Amanda spoke at local schools. Titan did send demos. The kids adored them. Marlene had tried to flex power she didn't have. She'd underestimated a federal K-9 instructor and a woman who knew the law better than any clipboard-carrying HOA tyrant. And now every time Titan walked past her old house and let out a single bark, it wasn't just noise. It was justice.